What's up guys, Bionic here and welcome to the first Raid Shadow Legends video of the year where we are going to review all the Fusion Champions of 2020 on my own account and see how I'm currently using them or not using them. Before I get started though, let me quickly start by saying I will be streaming now Monday, Wednesdays, and Fridays, same time, 7:30 Eastern time. That means that tonight I will be on Twitch. We're going to have some viewer summons, my own summons, some gem giveaways, but also an account giveaway on top of that, which is the account that you see right here. So if you want to have a chance at winning this one or just the gems or just doing some viewer summons, or even better, if you want to let me open your shards, do reach out on Discord. That would be amazing. All that being said, let's jump into the video. Alright, so here we are on my own account, and as you can see I have a decent amount of legendary champions, but I'm going to say that a good portion of them are actually fusions between last year and this year, where I've been able to, I think, get all 12 of them. So we're going to go over those champions that I was able to get this year. Even if they're not necessarily useful right now, they might be in the future, because you never know if they're going to buff them or release other champions that have good synergies with them, right? So that is what I want to help you guys understand out of what I've been able to figure out with a full year of fusions under my belt now. All right, so let's go over the traditional fusions. Last year, or 2019, sorry, finished with a Torment. Absolutely amazing. I did get this guy, but then we followed up with a Rotos. Rotos is also quite amazing on any account to have. Some are saying now not as great because he was nerfed. Yeah, but you know what? He's just a little bit more gear dependent. I still have mine geared in a Relentless set, which I can show you guys in a little bit. Then we had Killian the Lucky. Now this guy hits hard, has decent crowd control, but certainly not comparable to a Rotos. I did have to use mine though for Faction Wars 21, so that's a tip there for you guys. If you put him in a Relentless set, he can surprisingly be pretty decent at controlling the other champions, all right, the enemies. Then we had a Skull Lord Vergal. Now this guy, at first I wasn't too excited, but you know what, I had made it a goal to get them all. I got him and now I use him all the time. I actually really like his 2-turn cooldown when booked for a provoke on a single target. It's good for the Magma Dragon, but it's also kind of interesting for the tag arena. His fusion was a little bit unique. It was all Skull Swarms, so it was like a little bit tricky. Either you had, you know, a good drop rate or you didn't at all, and then it took way more energy for you to get him, but still a very good champion to have in a shield set. His stats are absolutely amazing. Then we got Gurp Mossbeard here. So he's a little bit niche for his application in my opinion, but he was also buffed recently, right? So he adds a whopping amount of damage from his passive when you have poison debuffs on your own team. Makes him really good for like one-shot builds for the Spider 20 with like a Septimus, which I now have. So I kind of like that because again, this goes to show that at some point, you might get a good combo going with one of these fusion champions. Then we got Kendra the Cyclone, which at first I did not use, but came the Doom Tower, sorry, and now I've been using her in the Doom Tower. Her AoE provoke, depending on how many debuffs are on the enemy team. Great for the Magma Dragon again, so her with Skull Lord Vergal is fantastic for me. Plus, she's really good for the waves. Don't get me wrong, this is a great champion. I use her for Faction Wars all the time. Really worth it. Also her aura, accuracy aura, which is also great for the Doom Tower. Then we got Vergal, our big sausage here. So he has a resistance aura, which is good, but he has the ability to strip buffs, and that is really good. It's hard to obtain champions that are good at removing buffs from enemies on any account in this game. Period, right? So I decided to fully build him. I'll show you guys what I have for now. It's not done. It's a work in progress, but I might actually get around to using him on a daily basis in, let's say, Tag Arena. Now we just got Pixniel. I didn't completely build her yet. She is like fully ascended. She does have masteries. The books are obviously not in there. She needs a whopping 18. That's a little bit too much for me. But I've been trying to get or find a way to use her a little bit more in the Doom Tower, and I'll show you the gear in a second. Then let's go over the Fragment Fusions, right? So this was implemented this year. It started with a free Horden. I have Horden as well. I'll show you guys in a second. But then we got Krila Witch Arm. Allies join attack. Also something that is really hard to obtain in the game. I'm glad I got it because I'm going to try and incorporate her in my clan boss team, hopefully within the next week or two. Then we got Dracul the Gaunt. Interesting passive, right? You'll get to counterattack and you sort of like apply a shield, and if that shield is broken, then you get to counterattack. Also has the increased attack and increased defense, if I'm not mistaken, on the same skill. Really interesting, but I did not exactly need this champion for my faction wars when I came around to completing it, so I'll have to figure out how I'm going to use him. Then we got Elagaeus here, kind of the same thing, a little bit niche application. Also not really using him because I have a very solid faction wars undead team, but I hear that for some players who are just starting out, he's really, really good. And then we got Vergal the Malformed, which is an epic champion, but he is a decent healer apparently. So I am going to try and build him, but for now he's the only one that is not fully ascended, ranked up to 60, and masteries done of the 12 fusions on my account. Alright, so now let's go on my actual account and look at these champions, what they are doing for me this late in the game. As I said, Skull Lord Vergal completely built on my account. We have about 90,000 HP, 214 speed. We do have 230 accuracy, a little bit low, but he is on a team that is very defensive, high resistance. So we have 490 resistance, plus usually an aura that is close to 100. So he's sitting close to 600 resistance. Is this platinum level? No, but it's decent and it's good for gold 3 and gold 4 tag arena, which is where I mainly use him. As for the skills, as I said, they are all done, and then here are the masteries. Then we got Gurp Mossbeard, sorry, here. You can kind of see that I'm using him, not using him, using him, not using him, but he is in my faction wars team permanently. I just had to shuffle some gear around for the Doom Tower, but he's typically also in a very high accuracy and resistance type of setup, because I would imagine that at some point I might use him in tag arena, probably not classic arena because I have better champions. I did not do his skills yet. I might get around to doing it with the content creator perks for you guys, but for the time being still works as is. And then here are the masteries. Next one we're going to do is Kendra the Cyclone. I decided to go with a frost set. I had some good pieces on my account. I originally built this frost set for another champion, but decided, you know what, this is good enough. Let's put it on here. So we have 5.2k defense, 200 speed, 244 resistance, and 286 accuracy. A little bit low. This would need to be higher for sort of the PvP content, but for the Doom Tower, it's borderline okay. As for the skills, nothing is done. And then the masteries, here are the ones that I am using. Pixniel. As I said, just recently built her. I've been trying her in a deflection set. I thought, what if, you know, we can get this passive to work for us where we kind of like take over the freeze, but then we send it back to the attacker. I thought that would be pretty neat. It apparently works, but it's like such a small chance of happening that I don't know if it's really worth it or not. As for the masteries, not exactly done, so I will have to revise my Pixniel. Elagaeus, as I said, I built him, no skills done, no masteries done. I mean, they're done, but I just didn't get around to actually building this champion for the time being. Then we had our Killian, which wasn't a relentless set, as I said before. He was used for the faction wars, no skills done. We had a War Master to deal a little bit more damage for the faction wars, but since I pulled a Septimus, so he was kind of taken out, right? Kind of makes sense. Then we have our trusty Rhodos, which was improved quite a bit since my original build video on this champion, but is still in relentless. All right, so we have 4.7k attack, 160 speed, 99% crit rate, one short, 245% crit damage, and a decent amount of defense as well. Right, if you've noticed, 3.4k defense, which is kind of nice. And as for the skills, they are all done. I think he's worth it. And the masteries, we do have Helm Smasher on this guy. All right. Next one, Krila Witch Arm, not correctly built for what I'm trying to do in the clan boss, so don't copy this obviously, but she is going to be in lifesteal, right? She will need to have enough speed, so she's going to have to be at a different ratio, 4:3 ratio if I'm not mistaken, for the clan boss with counter attack. So I do have to somewhat redo this, but I also want her to hit relatively hard. She is in faction wars all the time. As for her skills, they are all done because I'm going to be using this champion quite a bit. And then here are the masteries. Again, don't copy this, I might switch them up. For our big sausage here, a Vergal, we have a shield set. He has decent HP, certainly not comparable to our Skull Lord Vergal, but I think he's still worthy of a shield set, all right? So we went with something that, once again, had a decent amount of accuracy, a decent amount of resistance. I say this is mainly for the PvE content right now, not exactly well built for PvP. We have only 70,000 HP. But I think he's going to be able to do a lot of great things. And like I said, this skill right here removes one random buff from each enemy, and then you have a chance at removing, I believe, 2. That's pretty good, okay? We can somewhat work with this. We also have a shield and an increased defense on his A2, which I find kind of interesting. And then here are the Masteries. Dracul the Gaunt, kind of the same thing as Elagaius here. I built him up, and I just don't know what I want to do with him for the time being, so he's just sitting there. Hopefully we get around to it. Now the final one I will cover is Horden, which is in my Faction Wars team, and he hits really hard. He's actually really impressive, so I completely maxed him out. I went with War Master here for the tier 6 mastery, so I might optimize his gear a little bit here and there, but I wouldn't exactly say he's going to be on like my arena, clan boss, tag arena team, so he's going to stay for Faction Wars only. And finally, we have our Bergoth down here, which I did not get around to building yet, but I will do this for you guys, and so you will have literally a reference point for all the fusions of last year, and hopefully in 2021 I can hit them all as well. I want to know which one is your favorite. Let me know in the comments below. How are you using these fusion champions so we can help other players figure out how to use them as well. Hopefully you've learned something today. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll catch you guys later.